Good evening, everyone. This is your East Coast Weather Authority meteorologist Alexander Bielefeld, and we got a lot to talk about. We got some heavy rain that's going to occur over the next day and a half for parts of the eastern U.S. and Northeast. We got Tropical Storm Patty, which isn't named yet, but is most likely to be named within the next 5 days. And we got another potential nor'easter later this week. This one could bring more snow to places closer to the I-95 corridor. And we've got that cold air lingering, that warm period at the end of November that we are expecting is now on life support as models are beginning to just shun it out and showing just straight cold through the rest of November into the month of December. So let's get started. You can see here's a system right now that is going to bring heavy rain to the mid-Atlantic, the southeast, parts of the northeast, interior northeast snows, but not expected to bring any snow to the I-95 corridor. Now looking at the tropics, you can see here's the mess here. This is what could potentially be Patty as she moves to the northwest, and then as our next potential nor'easter moves up, we'll take it right out to sea. So no threat to land for this. Our biggest threat, so here actually, let's look at here's the 5-day NHC, 60% chance. What we're expecting is to just curve northwest and then curve out as our next nor'easter comes right up this way at the end of the week. So let's get into that potential nor'easter. So this is for late Thursday night. This is the GFS 500 potential vorticity, excuse me, MGO potential height. And what this shows is, you see this piece right here. This piece is a huge indicator, because if this interacts with this, it will cause the low pressure to become inside runner, is what we call it, and run right up the coast and bring rain to mostly all the areas except for maybe super interior portions of the Northeast. But the GFS has been backing off on that idea, and this has actually been sitting off, and this has actually been moving more east rather, than what it has in its past model run. So what that means is that this will continue to move east, which will allow this low to stay off the coast and bring more snow closer to the I-95 corridor. Now here's another model. Here's the CMC. Now notice how that piece is almost interacting with this, and if you take it closer, look at it interact. So this is what we're not expecting this time around. We really believe that this piece is going to stay weak, just like the GFS has, and notice how it moved east, very slightly north, but east, northeast, and what the model run output is a very significant snowstorm for places close to the I-95 corridor. And this time around, this is a much bigger threat for that area. Now, for places like New York City, Philly, and Boston, snow right now is still in question. Places north and west of those places, more confidence in snow. So interior portions of the Northeast, this is your big snowstorm, the one that is going to happen Tuesday, or tomorrow rather, tonight into tomorrow. Not really likely to be a big snowmaker, but the one towards the end of this week, which is this one, we are expecting to have much more significant impacts throughout the entire Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, as a matter of fact. So next story, here's the dew points rather. So what this is showing me is this is for overnight, Thursday night and Friday. So for dew points, so you can see that the dew points are in the 20s, and what that shows is that there's plenty of cold air in this system. You can see dew points in the 20s. This will be mostly snow, where you can see all the blues occurring right now. You can see in New York City, Boston, Philly, your dew points are in the 30s. Now, that is possible to change as we get closer and closer. More and more data gets ingested into the models, and it's most likely to change. But for now, we can expect that rain snow line to sit like usual for storms like this right along that I-95 corridor and leave New York City, places like Philly and Boston just out of the snow, and places west and northwest of there could see significant snow. So the next thing that we have to talk about is the cold air that we are expecting to last through the rest of November and into December. So timing it out, here's the next 3 to 7 days, cold, 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 cold. You can see towards the end it does lighten up, but notice that it's still below average. It's not really a warm-up like model suggested earlier in the week and early last week, rather. Notice how it's just going to stay cold for the most part. and here is the geopotential height for that. And notice this right here. This is a big player. So what this is a negative NAL. And what that causes is it causes a trough in the eastern U.S. So what we experienced in March, where we had those 4 nor'easters come right up the coast in a matter of 4 weeks, big player in that. It creates storminess, troughiness, cold air over the eastern U.S. And notice this too, this trough over here. So what this trough does is allow a ridge in the western U.S. and troughiness in the east. Now notice it's showing troughiness in the west and troughiness in the east. Now this is the ensemble member, so it's more of it's a blend together of all the model runs, all the ensembles together. So it is showing, you know, some models are showing troughiness in the west and troughiness in the east. But the big key to take out of this is this low here, which will cause a ridge in here, which will then in turn cause troughiness here, and this negative NAO keeps this block in place, so it's going to allow troughiness to just stick in the eastern U.S. So here's the CFS. So here's the days, month from now. You can see below average. Go out another week after that, below average for the eastern U.S. heading into the holiday Christmas week. But obviously it's 45 days ahead. Things are very, very likely to change, and the CFS has not been handling things handling things very well this year, but it's finally catching on to the cold in the eastern U.S. and it's just more of an indicator of this cold sticking around. And like we talk about MJO, MJO is a big player. You can see it's going into phases 8, 1, and 2. And during the winter months, 8, 1, and 2 are the cold phases for the eastern U.S. And with the sea surface temperatures, like we've been showing you guys, we can expect that to just stick in 8, 1, and 2 and last very little on the warmer side of the MJO. That's it for now, guys. We're going to continue to update you on this potential nor'easter at the end of the week. Have a great night.